so 1950 pit stops to the 2013 Formula 1 pit stops. And it starts off with the 1950s team, and the camera zooms in, the car comes in, okay? Now what happens is that there's a commentator and he goes, I can't remember the guy's name, Williamson comes in for his pit stop and he's eager to get away as quickly as possible. Okay? Only 4 people can work on the car at any one point. Okay? 2 really crucial things there, right? They've already got a goal, okay? The team has an objective. One chap comes lumbering in from the top of the screen with 2 wheels, 2 front wheels. These are really heavy, kind of old steel spoke wheels. And he proceeds to spend the next minute and a half. If you can imagine, in the 1950s, you used to have like those central spinning wheel nuts. He proceeds to spend a minute and a half whack it with a big hammer, whacking the wheel nuts off his car. While the other 2 guys, because I still haven't found the 4th guy on this video, the other 2 guys, they're polishing the car. And it's like one guy is smacking the wheels off his car while the other 2 are just polishing it. The beautiful moment about this minute and a half in the 1950s, right, is the guy who was filling up turns to the driver, okay, turns away, grabs what looks like a cup of tea, okay, does that, presents the cup of tea to the driver, and a camera flash goes off. It's like a 1950s selfie with the driver. It's a beautiful moment. So anyway, so we get through. The guy, poor unfortunate guy, changes both front tyres, and the car gets away. It's like, and the commentator's astounded by the performance. And after a minute, and 1.5, the car zooms away. Okay, and that to me, you looked at that, and kind of, I hope my audio description has done it justice. It was so inefficient. Okay, you have one guy smacking wheels, off there, and lots of guys polishing it. Realistically, the objective was to get the car in, do some stuff, and get it out as quickly as possible. It wasn't to give the driver a cup of tea. It would have been to fill it up, but it wasn't. It was basically do the bare minimum maintenance to get the car back onto the track and get it running again. Okay. The next 20 seconds of the video is 2013. I don't know, I'm not an F1 geek. Somebody told me it was like the fastest pit stop ever. And it was 2013 as a top view, and most of you will have seen like an F1 pit stop. Okay? It's like top down, and you've got lots of guys, right? And the car comes in, it's got the same objective. The car comes in, lots of people waiting to do their particular role in that team. Okay? Car comes in, car's gone, for like 2 seconds. I don't know what it was 2 or 3 seconds. And it really got me thinking about what was so significant in the change between 1950 and 2013. Right? Most of you are sitting there going, well, it was obvious that it was 65 years, 63 years of change. And you're thinking, well sure, there were 63 years of change, but what did they actually do? The objective hadn't changed. Cars got to get in, cars got to get out. So I'll leave that with you for a second, because then I started looking at other examples we know of high-performing teams. Okay, any Brits in the room recognise this bunch. Okay, Royal Marine Commandos, high-performing military unit. Okay, objectives. They have objectives, right? Practical objectives. There's a lovely quote. I can never remember. It's an American general, and he said, "No plan ever survives contact with the enemy." Okay? So while you might have an objective to take a position, okay, actually how they get there, you actually leave up to the guys on the ground. Car comes in, car goes out. How they actually organise themselves to change that. So the guys on the ground ultimately who are going to end up doing the work. Next one, rugby or sport. Sport in general, okay? Objective, what's the objective? Get it all over the line, score some tries, defend, okay? Nothing changes, right? They have their clear rules. How, would you take on a game of rugby if you followed a particular set of processes? Ball goes left and you kind of look at your rule book and go, oh no, we've got nothing for when the ball goes left, we can't do anything. They don't do it, they adapt. There's a US military one I really like, it's improvise, adapt, overcome. Okay, it's like, we hear it conspect and adapt, but I quite like that for actually what happens when you're actually in contact with the enemy, or you're doing your stuff, right? You actually, things come out of it from different angles, and you just have to cope with it. So the foolish thing would be, for me, I'm not saying you're foolish, I'm foolish. The foolish thing for me, when putting this presentation together, would have been to say, well, it's, what's obvious, right? How do we make a right front? What's a good team? And you could say it's just the way they're organised. And it's a trap, because it's unfortunately a little bit more complicated than that. Each of those team examples have rules, limits, and constraints. I think you've got constraints in one of the questions. Every team has its own rules, limits, and constraints. Every process, every organisation has rules, limits, and constraints. Okay. And unfortunately, we do like that when we talk about. We wear ties in university. This isn't me picking on. Agile doesn't say like me you have to wear jeans, right? Although I did some consultancy a couple of weeks ago, I turned up and I was talking to the CIO. I had a nice suit on, and I introduced myself. And he said, "You're not an agile guy." He said, "You don't have, you're not wearing jeans and a stupid t-shirt." And so it's not me picking on that, but we kind of we don't think about when we turn to work, and nobody turns up to work and says, "I'm going to do a really bad job today." Nobody says that. I mean, that would be silly. You shouldn't be in your job. If you really don't want to do a good job, you shouldn't be in